Okay, there we go. Can you guys hear us now?
I can hear you, yeah.
All right.
Okay, I think things are working then.
All right. Right. That was this comedy of errors, but hopefully we figured it out for next time. So we're going to try starting again. Alvin's going to kick things off with some demos.
Okay. So the first demo I will do is about memory isolator in Rocket. First to explain what it is about. In Rocket, we can have we can group applications in a pod. So our pod is our isolated environment, and in this example, I have two applications running in the same pod, in the same isolated environment, and I will apply some memory limit on them. So internally, it will use cgroups and systemd to achieve that. In this example, I have a pod where I apply a limit of 3 GB of memory on the first application with a limit of 128 MB. So I will go to the command line and okay, can you see my screen now? Yep. Before starting things from systemd, I will just do the simple case of starting etcd application with a limit of 28 MB. And because Rocket pod register to systemd machined, I should be able to see that in machinectl on a semi-pod. And I should be able to look at some of the resources used by this pod with the command systemd cjitter. Here I see the memory usage, currently 5 MB being used. So it includes etcd and systemd, everything which is running inside the pod. So I will stop this now, and I will try it again, but this time instead of starting directly from the command line, I will start it via systemd init, and for that I will use systemd run. So if you can see my screen, I start systemd init with systemd run, and I apply some property on it to limit the memory to
put it to the top.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the command I'm going to run.
Yeah, that's one way.
Yes. So in this case, it doesn't run directly on a terminal, but it runs as a systemd init, and I can check the status of that. And I see it's running. It has some process inside the pod, including the etcd process. And I requested a limit of 3 GB, and I see it's being applied on the service. So here, to do that, I use the command systemctl status. And in the same way as before, I can use machinectl to see the list of Rocket pod, as is there. So how can I check that the memory limits are applied correctly? I could check through the cgroups. So if I use the command, where I just look at the file in sysfs cgroup memory, the path for the for my service. And I look at what limit has been applied. I see it's 3 GB. So that's 3 GB for the pod, but inside the pod I have one application, etcd, and I would like to look at that. I will just check what is the process ID of etcd, and then I will check what is the C group. What interests me is the memory controller, and I see it's in this path. So I will use, I will look in sys, fs, C group, memory, and then I will look at this path. And I look at the file memory limit, and I see it's 128 megabyte as I asked. So I'm going back to the slides. That was an example of using the new -- memory parameter to change the memory limits. That's it for this demo.
Cool. So yeah, should we do all the demos at the beginning?
Yeah, I think that just does for sure. Unless anyone has any questions about what was just demoed, free to add them to the Hangout or to the event.
Do you mean on Google Doc?
Either the Google Doc or the event page. We're trying to keep an eye on both.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to go on? Are you doing demo?
Yeah, I can demo AC build.
Cool.
Probably Derek should be better for demoing it, but I can just run an example. So, thanks. So can you all see me, my screen? Okay. So here I have some Node.js file, which does a stupid thing. It creates a server and listens in a port that's passed by an environmental variable, and it prints some stuff, also an environmental variable and the version of the Node.js. So this is a Node.js app, and we want to create an ACI image with it. And for that, we're going to use AC build. So I have here a script. And yeah, so AC build is basically how you should build ACIs. And its usage is very simple. It has a set of commands. So first you begin the build. This is just so if you do Control-C, the build exits cleanly. And then you can set the name of the application, and you can add dependencies. In this case, we are depending on Alpine Linux, this image. Then we are updating the APK package manager and installing Node.js. Then we add a port. Well, this is just an environmental variable, so the script can check the port. And we add another one. It's just an example, so mongo.example.com. We add the port, this time for real, and it's the port 80. And then we just copied the app I just showed to inside the ACI in this path. We set the exec to node and then the app, and we just write it. So I'm going to run that to create the ACI. As you can see, it tells you that you need root. So let's do it with root. And yeah, so here it's assigned the dependency, downloading the ACI dependency. Now it's installing the APK packages and writing the ACI. So now we have an ACI here. So I'm going to go ahead and just sign it. So I'm going to sign it with my personal key. And it's signed now. We have the ACI and the signature. So I already trusted my personal key in Rocket using Rocket Trust, root and my key. So now I'm gonna just run it, and it's verifying my key, downloading the dependency to the Rocket CAS, and extracting the ACI. And now the server is running, so we could test it. So I'm gonna open a new tab, and I'm gonna do curl localhost. Okay, this doesn't work because the pod has its own IP, so localhost doesn't work. So let's figure out which IP is that with Rocket List. You can see that we have a pod running, and it has this IP. So if we curl this one, we can see the version of the Node.js and this environmental variable of example that I said. So yeah, this is how you build ACIs, and yeah, it's a pretty cool tool to use, AC Build. So that's it.
Okay, great. Aaron, do you want to show us a bit about Rocketfly?
Sure. Let's see. Can you see my prompt okay?
You can maybe make it a bit bigger.
Yeah,
How's that?
that's fine.
That's
Yeah.
good.
All right. So just brief overview of I guess, Rocketfly. I can't take credit for this. I've just kind of been playing around with it. But the idea being able to launch a container via Rocket, but without kind of the namespace isolation, like still rooting into the container's file system and running a binary, but running on the host namespaces other than that. So what I've been wanting to use it for is for running the kubelet on a host itself. So in this case, if I look at how I'm executing kubelet, so right here, this is actually, it's a little bit ugly right now, but more or less what I'm doing, I have a custom-built rocket that's executing the the Rocket Fly stage 1. And then after this, I'm mounting in some stuff from the actual host that the kubelet wants, and then running a hyperkube image that executes the kubelet. And then beyond that, it's just kind of the normal kubelet information, where the API server is, whether or not it should register itself, etc. So if we actually look at this box, so we see Hypercube is actually running via this Rocket Stage 1, and if I actually look at nodes, we actually have a fully running cluster. Yeah, so let's see. If you look at the process tree, kind of hard. This big. Yeah, I don't know if this is work, but anything else I can particularly show that might demonstrate a little bit more about Rocketfly itself.
Do you have PS3 there?
Yeah, but it's so. Oh, I don't on this CoreOS box. I don't. Here,
Okay.
see.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to show the names, but
Sorry. Oh yeah. So you can see up here at the top. Let's see. Yeah. Are you guys able to see that at all?
yeah. So Could you stop it and start it again with Rocket?
Yeah, so it's actually in a I'll just go ahead and let's see.
Do you want to talk us through what you're doing right now?
Yeah, so I'm just getting the actual command itself, which is kind of really long, so it's hard with this prompt. And we'll just fake some of this. That's a good way of all right, so so I'm just now kubelet starting up. Everything already exists there. If we actually on the host itself now see that we still have a running cluster. If I were to actually kill this.
You have the Docker one running?
No.
Or the service?
Interesting.
It's like magic Kubernetes.
I think it's both have exited, but there's something there. Oh no, it's still running. Oh, there we go. Finally. All right. So now it's a not ready status. That's what. So the API server is still running, which is that's because that's running via Docker actually. So in Docker, so the node itself is listed as not ready now. So the kubelet has stopped. It's not reporting status back to the API server. But Docker, because we just killed the kubelet, is still actually running images on the machine, like the API server, the scheduler, controller manager, that kind of thing. So if we were to actually rerun the kubelet, we should actually see that node come back as it starts reporting its status back. So now we see that it's ready. So more or less, it just runs exactly like it would on the host, except you get all of the niceties of distributing the kubelet as a container, all the signing that comes with that, version management and such.
Got it.
Cool. Very nice.
So then, if you were using Rocket as the backend, then you wouldn't have those APIs that are running out of Docker.
Right. So as the container runtime itself right now is still using Docker. So we use Rocketfly to boot up the kubelet, and then the kubelet is still set to use the runtime as Docker. And so you should be able to kill the kubelet and not have it kill the actual running containers itself. Yeah, but the runtime itself is kind of separate in this case. The runtime, you would use normal Rocket run methods, potentially not Rocket fly, depending on your use case, I guess. But yeah.
Cool. Right. Well, I guess we can move on to the next portion of the meeting, just to talk about some of the next features. Alan, you want to read that?
Present? Yeah, cool.
Yes. I'll just share one slide. Does it work?
Yeah.
So we can talk about what you want. I don't know if there is a question on the Google Doc. Otherwise, I make a list of possible things, like integration with Kubernetes. That's what the Rocket Fly is part of that. And then I wanted to mention in the kernel there will be a new version of Cgroup 2, and that will be in the next kernel release 4.4 that will be released next month. And so far, Systemd and Rocket don't support it, but that's something we want to support. Like for next distribution using that, we want Rocket to work on it. Some people mentioned that they would like to have torrent support to fetch images, and so far there is it's not there yet. That would be good to have too.
We have some initial patches after that.
Yeah, they're not really ready.
Yeah, there,
Yeah.
400.
there is a pull request on GitHub. That's it. Do you want to say something else?
Yeah, I mean, we could extend its spawn points, right? I mean, so maybe Yifan can give an update on the integration with Kubernetes, or
Yeah, you feel like giving a Rocket Kubernetes update?
Is Ifan actually here?
I think he's on the.
yeah, it should be with Derek.
Yeah, we're here. Sorry, Chrome froze because I needed to go hit OK on a calendar event that popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Derek's PR is merged, so still working on replacing some stuff with the API service, and have some discussion with UGS today. So yeah, just iterate on the PRs. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, I made a work in progress pull request about journal CTL without root. I don't know if you saw that.
okay,
So that should help.
okay, I will try.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. We might also share that the feature checklist. Is that public right now, Yifan?
What?
Yeah. We're going to share the Rocket Kubernetes feature checklist with the group as well.
In the doc, right?
The document. Yeah. Okay, what's next?
Yeah, we can share some links to the patches for C groups. Are you in the document?
I don't
Or-
have it right now, but
Okay, I can put it. I can put the links.
if people are interested, I could demo how Cgroup looks like from when it's a unified hierarchy and when it's using Cgroup namespace. Okay, yeah, so that's just it's fun. But
I'm definitely interested in seeing that, but we only have a few minutes left, so maybe we should at the next one. I guess maybe we just spend a couple of minutes talking about some community stuff. Obviously, this is our first public, well, not our first, but our first of sort of having more regularly scheduled community hangouts. So sorry about all the hiccups getting it set up, but hopefully we had some sort of interesting demos for you. We'd love to hear feedback on how we can, what we can do with future meetings, and what are the things people in the community would like to see from our involvement. So, right now we have everything on GitHub and a mailing list. So, I encourage you to sort of reach out there if you are interested in getting involved or have feedback for how else we can help sort of build the community.
Yeah, so maybe we started with the demos like very abruptly. Maybe we should have some introduction on Rocket or something like that for the next hangout. So yeah, I would love to hear your comments about that. I don't know what's the level of knowledge of Rocket. So yeah. And yeah.
Cool. We're proposing that we sort of have the next hangout in about 3 weeks, since it's coming up to the Christmas New Year period and most people are off. And then after that, we'll probably try to have them every 2 weeks or so.
Sounds good.
And since we have quite a distributed team working on Rocket, this will sort of be the main regular sync up for all the development stuff.
I also think maybe we should let viewers be able to ask questions.
Yeah, I mean,
in the Hangout.
We can't do that with Hangouts, unfortunately, because we don't have any people have. So we can look at moving to something else like Zoom or BlueJeans.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else have anything they'd like to talk about? Oh.
No.
All right. Well, it's early then. Okay. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.